Welcome to Graceful Healing, a podcast to get straight talk about healing and living again. My name is Maureen Lake. I'm a holistic health coach, speaker, author, and thyroid disease fighter. Each week, I'll be bringing you graceful conversations to inspire you to seek new ways to hit the reset button to catapult your health and vitality to new levels. Listen in and open your heart to all the new possibilities. Are you ready? Let's do this. What can you say about Mollie? To know her is to love her, plain and simple. Macarthy-Openshaw is the creator of Mood Swing Wines. She's a global speaker, midlife coach, and inspiration for all women. Mollie's intention for Mood Swing Wines was to uncork the conversation about menopause, midlife, empty nest, all with a bottle of wine. Seriously, who doesn't love wine? Now, Mood Swing Wines has given Mollie a platform to speak to audiences throughout the world. Mollie's energy is contagious. She has such an amazing zest for life. Listen as Mollie pokes fun at herself and life in general and allows you to really think about your situation and how best to move through the doors presented to you along your life way. Mollie will challenge you to celebrate each day, and I cannot wait for you to hear her story. Hi, Mollie. I'm so happy to have you on my podcast today. I can't wait for my listeners to get to know you. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so exciting. Can you just please share a little bit about your personal journey and how you landed where you are today? Because in order for you to connect the dots, I know it's got to be incredible.
It is. Thank you, Maureen, for having me. I feel really, really happy talking to you today. So I currently live in Chico, California. I'm a mother of 2 adult children, and their names are Hunter and Mallory. And now they're kind of starting to turn a corner and do something with their lives. So I'm actually pretty excited about that.
I bet.
21 and 23, and proud to say that my son's going to be graduating from lineman school this month, actually on the 22nd, and has already got a job lined up, and I'm really excited.
Oh, wow.
And daughter is, still kind of trying to figure out what she wants to do. And it makes me think, gosh, did I really know what I wanted to do when I was 21? Not. So I got to give her a little bit of slack. But for me, it all started when I was a young girl. I just really had a great life. My mom and dad were super great. I have 3 brothers, 2 of which passed away, and my older brother's still around, but had a really great life living in Chico. Chico was just one of those great towns, and still is, where everybody knows everybody. Mm-hmm. It's like Cheers. You sit down to a bar and everybody knows your name.
Yeah, I actually have a connection with Chico because my aunt lived there, and I used to go visit all the time when I lived in Oregon.
Does she still live here?
They do.
What's your aunt's name?
Well, it was Lorena. Oh gosh, I'm going to draw a blank. But
no, but I might even know your aunt.
Well, you might, or you might know her children. I'll get the name to you later. But they owned a trash company.
Oh, okay.
But we used to go visit there all the time, and I agree with you. Chico is such a charming place to go visit.
It is. It's been a little rough lately, Maureen. We had the campfire in November, and our neighboring community, Paradise, was completely devastated. The entire community was wiped off the face of the earth. And so we've had some increase in traffic, and a lot of restaurants and stores and things are crowded. But we just have to have a kind heart and understand that, these guys are displaced. And sadly, a lot of my friends have had to move that lived in the Paradise area. Mm-hmm. But we're just a very small community where everybody loves and supports each other. And there's a lot of groups and organizations that tie into the spirit of community, which is really exciting. So I've always liked Chico. But of course, when you are in your hometown, you move away for a little bit and kind of try to figure out what you want to do. And I did for a short time go to Los Angeles and experience the whole beach scene and had a how that is. Mm-hmm. So I did that, but I came back to Chico to go to nursing school. I got my first taste of nursing when I was 16 years old. I was working at Crestwood Convalescent Hospital, and I thought making $3.10 an hour was probably the most money anybody could make on the planet.
Oh my gosh.
And it was not, obviously. And I remember going to Tri-Counties Bank and getting my first car loan for $1,500. I mean, who gets a car loan for $1,500 anymore, right?
Wow. Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm. And I think my payments were like $40 or $30 a month, which just seems so huge, you know. Anyway, so I had a really great experience working as a nurse's aide and then was promoted to assistant activities director. And I think I was getting $3.25 an hour. Thought I was even more, like the richest person on the planet. But this year I've celebrated 30 years in nursing. I've been a nurse for 30 years, but it was last year that I actually was able to retire from nursing altogether, which is awesome.
Oh, good for you. That's such a hard job. Oh my gosh.
So incredible. It is. And I've had some really good experiences. I mean, I was in different departments in the hospital. I worked as a travel nurse. I mean, I really enjoyed my years in nursing. The last 15 of it were spent working in long-term care pharmacy. And I was really loving that job. It was a job where I could get people state compliant, actually the facility state compliant from a pharmacy perspective. Mm-hmm. So I got to spend a lot of time with nurses, educating them, following them on their medication passes, just to make sure that they're doing everything that the state would require them to do. And also go through the medication rooms and the med carts. But you know, you and I talked about this earlier too, that as women and as of men, of course, that we are created for so much more than one thing. I really think that God gives us more than one gift. And it's until we pray about that gift or manifest that gift or really kind of start to pay attention to other gifts that we might, have, maybe we're just going to be that one nurse, or we're going to be a doctor, or we're going to be I notice I'm doing all medical, or a pharmacist, grocery store clerk. But I think what happens is that we've got to really look on the inside to see what our other gifts are. And I wasn't really actively looking for anything else. I also love that God and the universe will actually put things right in your path. And you're like, oh, wow, that hit me like a ton of bricks. Maybe I should look into doing something like that. It all started when I created Mood Swing Wines. It was never anything like, oh, hey, yeah, I love wine, so I'm going to make my own wine label or anything like that. Or, oh, I have a vineyard and I'm going to just start growing some grapes and, make a bottle of wine. It wasn't anything like that. Pretty much I was a cork dork. I just knew that I loved wine. And it wasn't until I went to one of my best girlfriend's house to say hi to her. And she had really been going through a rough time. She was going through a really nasty divorce and was going back to school to get her RN. And when I came to visit her one day, opened the door, and you can physically see that she's just a hot mess. I mean, she's bawling like a baby. There's books all over the house. Her house just looked terrible. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? What's going on? Like, something happened with you, her husband at the time. Like, no. And I said, what about school? Yeah, just overwhelming. I'm like, well, then why are you crying? Oh my God. And she's like, I think I'm going through menopause. And I'm like, what? Menopause? Wait, what? And you're 6 years younger than me. You couldn't be going through menopause. What's going on? I was like, hold that thought. I thought, I'm just going to run to the grocery store, because anytime your girlfriends need you, they need a bottle of wine, right?
Absolutely.
So I ran to the grocery store and I, scoured the shelves looking for anything that would put like a smile on her face. I mean, I looked everywhere and didn't find a dang thing. So I went and got back, the big bottle for $8.99, went back to the house and I said, okay, let's get over this menopause thing you're talking about. Let's drink this wine. Let's talk about it. Well, we did. And, her mother was much younger when she went through menopause. So surely she was going through menopause. But gosh, add that menopause on top of going back to get her RN, going through a divorce. She was a hot mess.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, she was a hot mess. And so we talked and, I knew she was going to get through it. But I went home going, oh my God, she really is a hot mess. I'm like, I am not going to be that. I'm not going to be that kind of person when I go through menopause. And it still freaked me out that she was 6 years younger going through that. But of course, hereditary has a lot to do with it. And when you started your period when you were a young girl, I'm like, well, I think I'm just going to skip menopause altogether. I don't want that.
What a wonderful idea.
Right? So I kind of almost willed myself out of menopause because I really wasn't attacked by the menopause bug really, really bad. But it got me thinking when I got home, I kind of focused on the bottle of wine. I mean, I was like, that didn't even have a smiley face on it. I mean, there's got to be some kind of a wine out there that, women could buy when they're going through menopause. And, nowadays with the internet, you can Google anything. I mean, you can find anything on the internet. And I thought wine, I started Googling wine, menopause, and pretty much everything I came up with were all the reasons why you shouldn't drink wine when you're going through menopause, or all the health questions, right?
Right.
And answers. And I thought, if it gives you hot flashes, if you've had a glass of wine, drink the whole bottle.
Exactly. You're going to have them anyways.
You're having the hot flash. So Maureen, it really got me thinking. And then, not only when I'm laying in bed and, searching, on the internet, I couldn't stop thinking about it during the day. And then I started to pray about it and journal about it. And I would wake up in the middle of the night oh my gosh, this is it. It's mood swing wines. It's got to be mood swing wines. And then I start getting these really creative names that kind of poke fun at menopause. I think, I've got Memory Lapse Merlot because I have now discovered that memory is a pretty difficult thing to remember things when we're going through menopause. Good Lord. Then Covers Off Chardonnay. And I also have Xenopause. And so I say the best. So all these names came to me and I'm oh my gosh. And what my message would be, because I'm thinking I'm not going to be anything like Serena. I am going to grab my life and go for it and have fun and continue to celebrate. Because I as a whole, outside of menopause, I love to celebrate my life. I throw myself a birthday party every year.
I totally
love, right? And I give gratitude 28 days, month of February. And I really embrace my life to the fullest. And I love the opportunities that are given to me because I do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that girlfriend and 3 of my other girlfriends took me to Maui for my 50th birthday.
Oh, wow.
And it was so much fun.
I bet.
And when I told them what I was thinking, what I was dreaming, what I was praying about, they said, Mollie, if you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. And you're going to kick yourself on the butt because you had the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody could do it, you can. And you've got the personality for it. And you can really connect with women. And my message on the bottle was pretty obvious about what I wanted to do and what I wanted to share with women. What I love about the message that I have, it's kind of the message that I have, in general, not just for women going through menopause. I'm going to read you the back of my wine label because it really kind of just sets the tone for what I'm doing now with my wine, my speaking, and my coaching. So, mood swing wines. While everyone else is dreading menopause and hot flashes, you don't have to. Take it on the chin. Keep enjoying life, especially wine. Why not celebrate, laugh, and make fun of the challenges that menopause brings us? This wine will bring delight to a lot of women and probably a few strong men along the way. Embrace life and surround yourself with the gift of family and friends that love us in spite of it all. So
I love that.
It's kind of my thing.
Yeah.
And when I'm running around going to different ladies events and wine events and different places to give exposure to my wine and have people buy my wine, all this time I'm talking with women and laughing with women and celebrating with women and, of course, poking fun at ourselves. I realized that I had a very strong message. I think this bottle of wine really, I shouldn't even say I think, these bottles of wine have helped me uncork the conversation with women about menopause, midlife, and empty nest. There's been so much opportunity to do that.
That's just amazing. It really is. I know that you've been in Nashville. There's a Broadway show that you're part of, right? It's crazy where this has taken you.
It really has taken me into many, many places and met some wonderful people. One of my first things when I started this wine, I really wanted to be the exclusive wine at Menopause the Musical. And I picked up the phone and just started calling number after number after number until finally I said, I just want to speak to a COO, a CFO, a CEO, anybody that owns Menopause the Musical. And this guy's on the phone. He goes, well, my name's Ken. I'm on the board of directors. I'm I'm the dude, what is this all about? And I started to tell him. He says, wait, I got to put you on hold. And he got his other partner on the phone. And I told him my story about mood swing wines. Next thing you know, I'm flying out to Vegas to meet them.
Wow.
They said, we love your idea. We would support you 100%. And we have been friends for the last 6 years.
Wow.
it took me, after talking with them and going to Vegas, you've got to get a distributor. And so there was a distributor in the Las Vegas area that was willing to take a chance on me, even though I was very, very small. But the beauty of that is I get up very, very early, and I thought, I'm just going to call Southern Wine and Spirits right now. If anybody picks up the phone, it's meant to be. 4:30 in the morning, this guy picks up the phone. He goes, hello. And I'm like, hey, this is Mollie with Mood Swing Wines in California. He's like, okay, what are you doing up so early? I go, well, what are you doing up so early? I'm just an early bird and blah, blah, blah. But we hit it off because we were both up early,
Mm-hmm.
And he says, yes, I'm willing to take a chance on you. Let's do this. But the process is, Maureen, though, that after I got, the okay from Menopause the Musical, and then I got the okay from Southern Wine and Spirits, the lady that is in charge of strategic planning for wine, spirits, and beer and everything in all of Caesars Entertainment has to make that decision too. So for 2 years, I stalked her by calling her, by emailing her, by Kathy and Alan helping me email her. And after 2 years of doing that, she finally said yes.
Oh my gosh, 2 years.
Yeah, it took 2 years. And then in 2016, I had my release and launch party. Mood Swing Wines had become the exclusive wine at Menopause the Musical.
That is amazing.
In Las Vegas, yes.
Wow.
And it's talk about the biggest blessing. And so Kathy and Alan and Ken, they involved me in so much, and my wine's there. And I love that I just love them. They're just so supportive of me, and they just give me so much in friendship. And they're about making people's dreams happen. I mean, they also produced a show and made the dream happen for a band named the Bronx Wanderers, and they made their dream come true of playing, nightly in Las Vegas. So they're amazing people. So,
yeah, but your determination and your stick-with-itness is like incredible. 2 years, most people would just like, oh, well, it wasn't meant to be.
I know, but you know what, though? I knew it was meant to be, so I just needed to be persistent. And I don't take no for an answer. I just and walk away. It's like, no, but well, why did they say no? And then, we talked about our gut and our heart and our mind, and we really know the difference between should we do something, not do something. But I knew that it was just going to be a matter of time before it happened. I knew that I was willed to do this. There was a reason to have Mood Swing Wines and to be a part of Menopause the Musical. It was going to happen, and they loved it anyway. And so there was value in that.
That's incredible.
But you talked about wine shows and things. I do travel all across the United States. I usually pick about 5 or 6 events a year. Wine Women in Shoes is an organization that helps nonprofits put on fabulous fundraisers. And I had the opportunity, it's been 4 years now, of going to these different shows. And I just donate my wine, really, and my time. And I pour wine at these events and get to really know women. And that helped me create an email list and women buying my wine. But it wasn't until last year that I was like, wow, more and more people are starting to ask me to speak, like at their women's organizations and different events. And so I was being really sought after last year. And I thought, yeah, I think I just want to continue to do this. I love to be on stage. I love to laugh about menopause. I actually have a really good comedic shtick that I do in front of women's groups. But I've been fortunate to speak in so many different capacities. Because I'm a nurse, I've had the beauty of being asked to speak at some nurses organizations. One big one this year was the California Association of Healthcare Facilities. I was the keynote speaker for their Director of Nurses Conference. So I totally interject, which, my story with Mood Swing Wines is about how we celebrate our lives. And so even though I have a message for women that might be going through menopause, midlife, and empty nest, my message is so spot on for just people in life in general. We need to celebrate everything. We're going to have our ups and downs, but it's the way we take care of ourselves and celebrate our first that we can actually bring this into the workplace. So I directed this to the nurses, like, how, as you, as Director of Nurses, celebrate your life? How do you take care of yourself so you can be even better when you show up for work, and help celebrate the nurses that work for you? So it just, the tie-in and my message is just so universal and for everybody. But I love getting on stage, and I love the word inspiration now. When I think of inspirational, I certainly don't think of me, but so many people are saying, Mollie, you're so inspiring, and you helped me get unstuck. And Mollie, you've got such a zest for life. How do you do? I get the, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it all the time? And it's like, it's where my heart and my mind is. I just love everything about my life. Yeah, sometimes it's a real shit show. I mean, and it's not always Skittles and unicorns and rainbows.
Yep.
I've experienced having 2 of my brothers pass away, and that's just been very devastating. And I almost lost my son in a motorcycle accident right when I launched this company.
Oh, wow.
So as soon as I launched in 2014, he was in a near fatal motorcycle accident. So when everything and feeling like I was on top of the world came crashing down in July, when the rest of that year was spent having and watching him recover. But I thought, this is still what's meant for me. And so 2015 came and had a real good year. And 2016, like I said, Menopause the Musical and speaking and, but there's always going to be setbacks,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always going to be speed bumps in the way, but as long as we're following our passion and really going after what we want, like sometimes I consult still in the nursing field, but I've changed my mindset a lot. I was still, Maureen, working full time. I mean, we're talking full time and out of the house for this long-term care pharmacy when I was doing mood swing lines. So every ounce of my body was put into mood swing lines after work and on weekends and in the evening.
And how did you find the energy to do that?
Well, see, it's hard. It is hard. There's a lot. I mean, it's challenging. And some days you're like, oh my God, I just can't do this. But I also felt like I couldn't leave my day job either, because everything that I made with my day job went right into paying for mood swing lines. Mm-hmm. So I didn't have a GoFundMe. I didn't have a hedge fund. I didn't have anybody investing in my company. It was all created out of money that I've saved and money that I worked for every day. So it was great. And, do I recommend not getting someone to, give you some money? Fun. I don't know that I would do anything different, because sure, it taught me a lot of perseverance and that I could do it on my own. So it really helped me grow internally and just really showed how much strength I actually had to do something that I was passionate about. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't give recommendations either way for a startup company. But the recommendation I would be giving anybody is that, gosh, if you have something that you're that passionate about, already know up front, people are going to tell you no, and people are going to go, okay, that sounds whacked. In fact, I had come out of a serious relationship, and this guy, we were talking about growing and growing apart. This guy was not supportive of what I wanted to do, because he was like, oh no, I mean, we're at a point where we just, need to settle down, and right. This is this, that, and the other thing. And, I don't like that you're on the road all the time and this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, well, you know what? You're not the kind of guy I want to have. Mm-hmm. The guy I want to have is going to support me and love me and, be very happy for what I'm doing, just as I'm happy for him. I would never want to stifle anybody in my relationship for coming, and having dreams of their own.
Right. And sometimes as women, it takes maybe midlife for us to really have a passionate, besides raising our kids, something we're really passionate about. And then we change and we grow and we bloom. Right. And unfortunately, we leave some people behind because of that.
Yeah, we do. And, there's a couple friends too that I've kind of left behind as well. Mm-hmm. And I hate, it sounds really rude, but they didn't serve me any purpose. You really have to surround yourself with friends and family too. I mean, I know there's people that have had to kind of walk away from family situations too, but I really do not, and I can be very truthful with this, that I do not have one person in my life that isn't meant to be there. I mean, if there was somebody that serves me no purpose, they're not in my life. I know that sounds really, really bad, but I'm really selective about who I want to spend my time with. Mm-hmm. And the ones that I spent my time with the most are the ones that truly get me, love me unconditionally, support everything that I do, and really get, tickled out of the things that I accomplish, just as I get tickled out of the things that they accomplish. And, we help each other and support each other. So it's really important. And sometimes, like you said, Maureen, there's that loss. And it's hard because it's like, wow, we've been friends for 40 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. And you have a nice memory of 40 years, but what about the next 40 years, you know?
Right, absolutely. Because sometimes people turn toxic
Right.
And it's hard to let him go, but it's
It is
important to let him go.
Well, yeah, it is, because I'm thinking of this. It was just like this relationship was hurting me. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you want to support my dreams? And she's like, well, gosh, every time you go to one of these parties, you totally leave me in the corner. I'm like, well, dude, sorry, but I don't want a guy that sits in a corner. I want a guy that's in a corner, engaging and having a great time at any party, but can look over and go, that's my girl. Be that confident. I just really don't have patience to babysit in a relationship, or babysit friends that, are the naysayers and the whiners and the complainers, because, losing two brothers, and I hate that it sounds so cliche that life's too short, but if there's another phrase or something that really embodies the same meaning as life is too short, then I would say it. But to me, it's not cliche. Life is too short. And, I've got a very dear friend of mine that is grabbing her life with both hands. I mean, she's given up on treatment for her cancer, but she is balls to the walls, doing everything she can while she's still here on earth. And I just love her and commend her for, what she does and what she represents. And you don't have to be faced with death to do exactly what she's doing or what I'm doing. It's like, if you're having trouble, switch the mindset, get some help. I do midlife coaching for women and women that are going through menopause and empty nest. I've got a lot of clients that are just, my kids went to college. What do I do? And I'm like, oh my God, my kids went off to college. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
I was ready to throw a party and then change the locks on my door. And
I know when my first one went away, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do without him here? But it didn't take very long for me to figure it all out.
Right.
And by the time the third one was gone, it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, I have this whole new world open up to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't miss at all having my kid come to my bedroom when I'm going to bed at 10 o'clock going, oh, Mom, I forgot about the volcano project. Or Mom, can you run to the CVS? I need some glue. Or Mom, will you make my lunch? Or Mom, wait, can you pick me up? Mom, can you drop off my PE clothes? I left those at the house. And like, where are you right now? And getting those, I don't miss that at all.
Me neither.
I don't miss it at all. I mean, that's a nice little memory, but God, how did I do it? How did I work full time? How was I a mom full time? A full-time wife, all those different things. It's like, yeah, been there, done that, but now it's time to celebrate me. And I don't want that to sound feministy. But it's like, it shouldn't feel that way. It's just like now, yeah, I mean, you can commend yourself, ladies. You did your job. You did it so good, 110%. And now guess what? You get to travel. You get to try new foods. You get to experience new things, maybe try a new job, have your entrepreneurial spirit guide you in a way that maybe you're the next, I don't know, pet rock. I don't know. Maybe you've got something out there that you've been thinking about, but you've never explored it because you're scared or too busy. But I love the coaching part of mine, but the getting on stage, Maureen, oh my gosh, and speaking all around the world, so much fun. I get such a kick out of it. And I really love I love the word inspired now, because I'm hearing from women that I've inspired them and, I've changed their lives. And it's like, wow, what a purpose. What a really great feeling.
And not only that, Molly, the fact that you bring this camaraderie together over a glass of freaking wine. I mean, how more perfect is that?
Right. I mean, that bottle of wine that I'm looking at right now, those bottles of wine, Mood Swing Wines, just has given me a platform to uncork those conversations. And who doesn't like wine?
Exactly.
Right? Who doesn't like wine? And I just love it. And, here in Chico, it's really, really fun too. I've got a group called Women of Integrity, and I am really trying to get women locally to connect, because we are connected in certain ways, but not 110%. Like there's a lot of girls that like to get together with other girls and they're passing. And when they see me out with friends, it's like, oh, wow, I'd love to hang out with you. I'm like, well, then we just have to have a group that brings us all together. And I bring speakers in and activities and, little icebreakers for getting to know new women. And I really, truly believe that integrity is a very, very important part to being an elegant woman. And it's not just about being honest with ourselves and others. It's really having a consistency in our character. So we get to all get together, look to see what's on the inside and begin to share with others our true self and to see what our next move is. So I'm really hoping that looking at our true self and looking at the true selves of other, it's just going to put us in a direction of like, hey, make them think, what is their next move? Is it being bold? Is it regaining their faith? Is it taking a leap of faith and trying something new? Is it inviting passion into our lives or just finding purpose again because they're experiencing maybe emptiness or menopause or midlife? And I just want it to be a safe place where they can learn and they can grow and they can feel inspired and if they can love on each other because, there's so many people out there that are just so unconnected and feeling so unloved and not having anybody they can talk to. And we talked about this, that midlife is not easy, empty nest is not easy, and menopause, it's a shit show.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
is.
I think of this time in my life and with the women that I work with as a time to kind of untether your soul or untether your heart. It's almost like an unraveling of who you were and allow yourself to become who you're going to be from here on out.
Right. Right.
I want to have a glass of wine with you, Mollie.
I know, right? I should just uncork one, but it is a little early. It's not, it is almost 12 o'clock on the East Coast.
Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
5 o'clock somewhere. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about that too. And, we're talking about, different relationships and friendships and stuff. If I had to do it over again, it's like, because I was married and of course, obviously I've got children. I was married and, I'm really grateful for the fact that my ex-husband and I are really, really good friends. We are, but we were not good together married. And I sometimes will look back and go, wow, if I was still married to him, I would not be where I am right now today. Mm-hmm. And, I've shared that with him very honestly. I said, Jerry, I said, I hate the fact that we even had to go through a divorce, but going through a divorce helped me be who I am today. And for that, I'm really, really grateful. I said, because I really felt like in our marriage that all I was going to be was a wife and to be the mother of my children. And that didn't feel right for me because I knew that I was created for something more than that. And I love that we can have those conversations because he's like, yeah, I totally get that. I see where you are right now and how happy you are. And, because he's so funny. We check in all the time, like, oh, so what's going on? Anything new? You going out of town? Do I need to check the dogs for you? Check the house? He's really a great ex-husband, but he's also really encouraging. When I share story, he's a better listener now. When I tell him stories, like, oh my God, I just got back from Newport Beach and I just had the standing ovation and it was so much fun. He's like, tell me more. And so like, he's a better listener now that he's known my husband.
That's funny.
But I love that. And it's just, I'm thinking, gosh, what would I be if I were still married? I would not have this part of my life that I am enjoying so much more. And to women that are listening out there, like, I'm not encouraging you to go get a divorce, quit a job, and just, I can't give any advice that way. But Maureen and I, we were both talking about that our heart, our intuition, and our gut are pretty much the same thing. Mm-hmm. That if you've got something gnawing on you, that's God poking at you going, I'm giving you a gift and I'd like you to see what that is. I want you to explore that. I'm giving you another gift. And one of my favorite parables is Mr. Jones Goes to Heaven. And Mr. Jones comes through the pearly gates and he's all excited to see what's up there. And he sees this big, huge warehouse and the guy at the gate's trying to stop him. I'm giving you the Mollie version. The guy at the gate's trying to stop him. And he's like running as fast as he can over to these big warehouses and flies open the door. And he's like, oh my gosh, what St. Peter, what are all these boxes? And, without hesitation, St. Peter's trying to hold him back. There are all these beautiful white boxes, row after row after row with big white boxes and red ribbons all around them. And all of them were on shelves and they were all alphabetized. And of course, Mr. Jones runs as fast as he can to the J section. And when he gets to the J section, he finds his white box with his red ribbon, his name's on it. And he opens that box as fast as he can. And when he opens it up, there's just that sigh. And St. Peter's heard that sigh before. And he goes, wait, St. Peter, why didn't you tell me what is all this? And St. Peter says to him that those are all the blessings that God wanted to give you. You just weren't open to receive them. You didn't ask for them. And I'm like, oh, this parable is so so spot on with my life that it's like, we have to, I don't want to offend anybody that doesn't pray, but we have to pray. We have to manifest. We have to think. We have to create so many opportunities for us. And to me, they're blessings. I will not ever denounce that everything that I have is a blessing from God, because if you really just seek in prayer and meditation, things that you want, those doors are going to open. I mean, and you just got to be really, passionate about it. And really, I could not shake thinking about it when I started Mood Swing Wines. And when I thought, I need to get on stage, getting on stage was easy because every stage was offered to me. I was offered speaking engagements. At that point, I didn't even have to ask for any. They were just given to me. I was like, wow. So I'm still just in awe and so grateful every day for Mood Swing Wines, the women that I get to coach, and getting on stage and providing a little comic relief for women audiences everywhere.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I can't let you go without telling my audience about your retreat that's coming up.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I love retreats when I can get away for a whole weekend. I mean, even a week for that matter, which I'm going to be planning in the future. But I realize there's a lot of women out there that just still kind of feel like they can't go away for the weekend, So I planned a ladies' retreat just outside of Chico. It's open to 50 women, and it's just going to be a day retreat. So when you come to the day retreat, you're going to be greeted with coffee and welcome and your little welcome packet. And we've got 4 beautiful speakers all lined up to share different stories about growth and inspiration and following our passion. And gosh, this place is beautiful. And I'm really looking forward to just getting women in the same spot, that can get to know each other better on a deeper level. I've called the retreat Free to Be Me. And, more details are going to be coming soon, but it's located in the most amazing place. And with 50 women, what I'm going to do is 25 at a time enjoy a speaker, and then they swap and hear the other, just so that it could be a little more of a more intimate group for each speaker. And then we're going to have a beautiful wine and cheese reception at the end, of course, wine. But I mean, we could have wine in the beginning too, but but we will have Mood Swing Wines, and we will have a beautiful cheese reception with wine, and we're going to have a great catered lunch. And just these speakers are just dedicated to just, sharing from their heart. And when we share from our heart, great things happen. So, and it's so affordable for the whole day, and including the evening, like I talked about. It's $197, and I have a Venmo set up, and it's Mollie, Mollie -Openshaw, OPENSHAW. And I think you have the link. And also have a PayPal, which is, the PayPal me /Mood Swing Wine. So it's going to be for people in the Chico area, but a couple of my friends that I met at another retreat earlier this year are coming in from Seattle.
Oh, cool.
I'm really excited. She's bringing her daughter. And then also some of my speakers are one's from Los Angeles and one's from Las Vegas. And they are fabulous women that are going through midlife, and they've got a roadmap to success in midlife. And they actually have a journal that they've created. And of course, the beautiful Rachel O'Rourke's going to be talking that there's no age and barriers in friendships and relationships, because we are best friends and we are 20 years difference in age. So there's that like-mindedness about surrounding yourself with people that just get you. Yeah. She's just one gal that gets me, and I just get her. And what's interesting too, Maureen, I do have to add that Rachel and I actually met at a ladies' retreat. So ladies' retreat have so much benefit to it. It might not even be the retreat that you've gone to, but you might come out with a best friend.
Exactly.
Because that's how we met. She was just kind of going through some stuff and heard something on the radio and said, I'll go to that. And I just was kind of going through some stuff myself. I said, I'll go to that. We sat at the same table, and I love the way she shares it too. And she goes, and this woman would not shut up. She talking and talking and talking, even when the speakers were talking. and talking, and we've been best friends ever since.
Oh,
so
that's wonderful.
ladies retreats bring a lot of goodness, and I wanted to make it affordable, and for a daytime retreat, it's awesome because like I said, sometimes weekend retreats and longer, sometimes it just doesn't fit into ladies' schedules, and it seems like more ladies can make it to a daytime retreat, which is pretty exciting.
Well, I saw the pictures of the venue and it looks gorgeous.
Oh, it's so pretty. It is. I mean, how I found out about this too is last year, Seroptimist International, the Chico Seroptimist gals invited me to come up and speak. And I was up there last summer speaking for them, and I fell in love with the place. I said, you know what, when I plan my day retreat next year, that's where it's going to be. It's got an infinity pool outside, and it overlooks like all the way down, like you wouldn't know the area, but Corning all the way through Chico. The bluffs are just gorgeous, and it's got a vineyard, just my favorite thing.
Nice.
It's absolutely incredible.
And
so
when's the date, Mollie?
June 29th.
Okay, great. And
registration begins at 9:00, and you can stay there till about 8-9 o'clock that evening.
And I'll have the information in the link on my webpage for you. So
thank you.
Okay, so I have one last question for you that
Sure.
I ask all my guests. So what's one sentence or piece of advice you'd tell your younger self if you could go back in time?
My younger self, if I could go back in time. Don't wait until you go through midlife, menopause, and empty nest to grab life with both hands and embrace it and celebrate it every day. But that's hard to say, Maureen, though, because I was a kid that did that already. You know what I mean? But I guess maybe, gosh, it's hard to say that, though, because there's a lot of women that would say exactly what I just said. Let me see. It's
a tough one, isn't it?
It's tough. I hate that. I wish I could have rehearsed it. What's the one thing I would tell my younger self? Just, but I do it. So it's hard to say. I guess I would probably say, just never give up. Don't quit. Take your no's as yeses, because there's another way around that no that's going to be eventually a yes. And I think maybe just go through more doors. That's a hard question to answer because I feel like I've embraced that. And that's why I am loving and I'm so successful about what's going on in my life right now. But I would just probably say, just go through more doors. Maybe if I had to pinpoint anything, just go through more doors and look for opportunity. Because you and I were talking earlier, this very big door that I went through thinking it was a great opportunity, and it really was a good opportunity, actually was a door that took me took me backwards into a door that I already gone through that God gave me. And he was just showing me that I needed to be right there, right then. So, Oh, I hate that question. I hate it.
That's perfect advice.
I hate it, but I love it. But just, the doors, I mean, gosh, that also sounds cliche. Well, when another door closes, another door opens. But it's so true.
It is true.
It's so true. But sometimes those doors that open, like it did for me, it opened, you're like, wow, this is a really great opportunity. But it gave me the opportunity to realize that door I needed to have gone through, see what was in that door, only to go back to the door that God gave me and intended for me. And it's just such a beautiful thing that ever since that happened, and that was just like a few weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, oh my gosh. I mean, right after that, my Women of Integrity group went from 12 people to 120 people. I got 4 back-to-back speaking engagements. I picked up 3 coaching clients. I mean,
it's amazing.
If we're obedient, if we listen to our heart, if we listen to what we pray for, so many great things happen, it really does.
And just even to be aware that there's a door there, because how many doors do we see that we don't even go through? So I just think that's such great advice. It really is, Mollie. And I wish I had followed it at a younger age. That's for sure.
Well, it's just one of those things, too, that like we paint this picture of what we think it needs to be, and you're like, oh, but I don't see it. I don't see it. So it's not mine. But God has a way of giving you a bunch of different things. It's just the way that he's presenting it. And it's like, the whole boat parable, too. I was like, I'm drowning. Well, this guy, God said he's going to come. Well, here comes a boat. Well, hop in. Here's a boat. No, God says he's coming. Then he sends, a canoe. No, God says he's coming. Then here comes the cruise ship. No, I'm still waiting on God. Well, you big dummy, the canoe, the boat, and the cruise ship all showed up. That was God's, he gave you 3 chances to get one of those boats, So it's one of those things where, we might be so caught up in the way that it needs to look, it needs to feel and stuff like that, that we really just have to pay a little more attention to being open. To looking at what's coming our way and receiving it. There's going to be hard stops if it's a hard stop. I know that for sure. I always listen for the still, small, quiet voice. It's like, okay, this is here and I'm going to do it. And when you allow yourself that, oh my gosh, and just wake up every morning with a gratitude journal and go to bed every night with a gratitude journal. I mean, I feel incomplete if I don't write out what I'm grateful for in the morning and what I'm grateful for at the end of the day, which sometimes what I'm grateful for at the end of the day ends up being what I'm grateful for the next morning. But at least we're showing gratitude and we're setting our intentions for good things to happen. So
absolutely. Well, that's a perfect way to end. You're such a positive soul. I just loved this 45-minute chat with you, Mollie. I can't thank you enough.
Oh, thank you, Maureen. I'm so glad you invited me. I love it.
Thank you. Hey, thank you for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. If you can, take a moment and give us a review. And please join the VIP room in Facebook for more discussion and insights. You can find us at Graceful Healing Podcast VIP room. See you there and see you next time.